Who's this?
It's Nicole Cavanaugh.
Oh, Nicole.
Oh, hello, it's Deborah Saxon.
Deborah, hi.
Hi, I didn't want to disturb April, but I've got an important question to ask her about her mother.
April is asleep. Is there anything I can do to help?
Well, yeah, I guess you can answer this question just as well as April could. It's about her mother, and you did work with her.
Yeah.
Listen, Nicole, do you ever remember Margot wearing a wig?
A wig? Yes. She did, as a matter of fact, sometimes. Not very often, but, you know, sometimes when she had an appointment and didn't have time.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case.
Well, why do you ask? Is it important?
I'm not really sure yet. Nicole, the first thing I've got to do is find out where the wig is.
Oh, you mean it's missing?
Yes. Now, it might be down at the hairdresser's getting rolled up or washed or whatever it is people do with wigs, but on the other hand, it might be missing. Stolen. Thanks a lot. I'll let you know what's going to happen. Bye.
Stop raining. The river out there looks like it's going to overflow its banks.
What is it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It was something sharp and painful that woke me up like explosions in my head.
Should I get a doctor?
Oh, no, it'll be okay.
You know what? It could have been the phone ringing. I was just on the phone.
Yeah? No, I don't think so. I think it was kind of like a nightmare without pictures. It was all dark and black. Except there was a feeling of an ominous, frightening feeling.
Well, it's understandable. It'll get better.
You know what I think? I think that I can't possibly have any more nightmares. I don't need them. I'm living my nightmares now, so therefore I should be able to sleep dreamlessly.
You're going to wake up from this reality the same way you wake up from dreams. I swear to you, you will.
Why? Because Deborah and Calvin or Steve are still working on the case? Nicole, I have given up hope. I know I was excited when they were here this morning, but I thought about it and I realized that they only did that to try to make me feel better.
I don't think that's it at all. I think they genuinely feel they have a lead in this case.
Well, then they think they're trying to make themselves feel better. Maybe relieve their guilt for having put Draper where he is. Where do you think he is right now?
He's probably still on the train. It's a long trip upstate.
Do you think they're going to treat him just like another prisoner? Think they'll be rough on him?
No, of course not. They'll know who he is. They know he's not a hardened criminal. They'll be kind to him.
God. One thing I do know, he's going to have to stay in a cell. And I think I can speak from personal experience. It's horrible. There's absolutely no privacy. Nicole Draper's going to hate it. God, I miss him so much. much already. It's only been a couple of hours.
All right, this guy's getting along fine. Let me see Mr. Hill's chart. All right, I'll tell you what. You can increase this dosage to 10 milligrams if he still complains about pain, all right?
Mm-hmm. All right.
That's all. Thanks.
Miles. Well, we came by to see if there was anything we could do.
Oh, it's very kind of you.
Yeah, we know that you and Nicole have been here for a long time, and we just thought you'd like a little relief.
Here, please, sit down. I suppose you know Draper is on his way to Redstone Prison.
Yeah, we know.
The police sergeant, Sam Dwyer, was here this morning to take him away.
And April saw that happen? Oh.
Well, Dwyer didn't have much choice in the matter. As a matter of fact, he didn't even give Draper very long to say farewell. Something about lots of bad weather upstate and all the train schedules had to be changed.
Yes, I got a bulletin on that at the paper just about a half an hour ago. Terrible storm. Flooding and bridges being swept away.
Nancy, didn't you tell me something about that dream April was having about her hearing a train whistle?
Oh, yeah. Yes, but that was weeks before this started happening. I mean, Miles, there was another element in her dream that puzzled her.
Silver bracelet.
Uh-huh.
She got to see the silver bracelets this morning.
Oh, no. Handcuffs? Mike, was that necessary?
It's standard procedure, Nancy, that's all.
And he's a man who's been convicted of murder. He's about to spend a long term in prison for what he did, what they say he did.
Miles, you know that I'll never stop working until Draper is free. I don't know how long it's going to take, but there won't be a minute that I'm not thinking about his situation.
I know that, Mike.
Look, now, what about April? She's going to be leaving soon, isn't she?
Well, she's certainly well enough to leave right now. Not that the baby is. That'll take another several weeks, at least.
Well, where will she be going? Not back to the house.
No, I guess we really shouldn't let her do that, should we?
Well, Miles, Mike and I were talking about, well, April might find it comfortable to come and stay with us for as long as she wants.
Since we both work, she'd have the house to herself all day long.
Yeah, I realize that you and Nicole probably would make the same kind of offer, but your life is a little more complicated than ours with the baby and your work schedule.
That's so kind of both of you.
Oh, it's nothing to do with that. We just want to help.
Well, I'll tell you what, I haven't discussed this with Nicole, but I'm sure she's going to make the suggestion to April. Why don't we just wait and see how April feels about it?
Of course. I doubt that she'll want to spend much time alone in that house right now.
No, I don't think so. For one thing, that'd make another one of her bad dreams come true. You know, there was something else peculiar about those silver bracelets.
What do you mean?
Well, April is convinced that the man in her dream was giving them to her as a gift.
Dreams can be so confusing.
Except that April's not confused about how she felt in the dream. Sometimes feelings are more important than facts.
How did she feel?
She felt that the man was sincere when he offered her the gift. And that these These bracelets turned out to be hand cuts. Really were some kind of a gift.
Forget about dinner?
Oh, no, I didn't forget. I was just trying to work up some kind of an appetite.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You and I will be going to a nice restaurant. Draper will be eating in the prison mess hall this evening.
Well, didn't take you long to bring up the topic, eh, now, did it?
It was on your mind when I came in the room, wasn't it? Hmm?
Yeah, it was. I was also thinking about 3 of my officers, the same 3 who feel the way you do about this.
What are they up to, anyway?
Well, like I told you, they've been chasing their own tails on this Dorn case. So I've given them their head. I may continue to sanction their efforts for a little while longer, but...
But not indefinitely, is that it?
It's not this granite heart of mine. Damn it, you know it isn't. I wish they could find a solution other than the one that's put Draper Scott on that train today.
Oh. Not as much as I wish that.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame you, Logan. I don't blame Steve or Calvin or Deborah. They feel pretty rotten about the part they played in getting this indictment. Not that it was that much, mind you. It was an open and shut case from the very beginning. That's how come Cliff Nelson was able to walk away with it.
Cliff Nelson did a fine job. I won't take anything away from him.
Well, I'm glad he's happy about it.
He's not. He'd like to be, but he's not. It's like taking candy from a baby. Nobody is praising him for it, and a lot of people are hating him. It's unfair.
A lot of people don't like me very much either.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked you to eat with me tonight. It's National Take a Social Leper to Dinner Week. Make a fetid friend feel fed.
Oh, Logan. I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, by the way, there's somebody else who feels that Draper Scott is innocent.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Ironically, it's the deputy who's taking him off to prison this very minute.
Dwyer, huh? Mm-hmm. He was our first prosecution witness.
I talked to him a few days ago. He took off a lot of his own vacation time to be at the trial.
No kidding. I wondered why he was at the trial every day.
Well, he was hoping there'd be some kind of a courtroom miracle, you know, like a witness breaking down on the stand or some kind of thing you'd see in a Hollywood movie.
Unfortunately, that just doesn't happen too often.
Well, not that you didn't try hard enough. Like with Elliot Dorn.
Who, me? Browbeating the witnesses wasn't my responsibility, not this time. That was up to Cliff.
Don't give me that. It was your idea to put Dorn on the stand just so that the defense would have a chance to cross-examine. I read you right, Swifty?
Do me a favor. Don't call me Swifty. I'm retiring that nickname.
Don't be offended. I don't blame you a bit for trying. Yes? Oh, we're just going... All right, send them in. It's my favorite 3. Come on in.
Hi, Chief. Oh, Logan, hello.
Deborah. Well, what have you all been up to?
We have been over at Margot's penthouse, checking her out, just make sure we didn't overlook anything.
Did you find anything?
Well, there was something that we didn't find.
What?
The contents of this.
Am I really supposed to get some sort of sustenance out of this empty hat box?
This is a wig box, Chief. The Mystique sells wigs.
We checked with Nicole about Margot's habits. She confirmed the fact that Mrs. Dorn on an occasion would wear a wig.
Well, that's not very unusual, certainly not these days.
Especially for a businesswoman like Margot Dorn.
But what we can't figure out is why is the wig missing? I mean, was it sent out to be done or something, or did somebody swipe it?
Well, has anybody called this Mystique place to see if it's being cleaned
Yes, I
or
called
dyed?
them. I called them earlier today. The man who runs the department is out right now. I'm going to go back this evening and talk to him.
Talk to him. About what?
Well, I
Why?
told you these three haven't given up on this case yet, didn't I?
Yeah?
They've got a new pet theory, so I've been letting them check it out.
And we're very grateful for that, too, Chief. We know that you're not crazy about the idea.
No, I'm not crazy about the idea of my three best detectives spending all their time on a closed case.
Logan, we're checking on Nola Madison.
You told me she had an airtight alibi.
Well, she did because I gave it to her.
Well, Steve thought he saw Nola Madison outside my apartment building the night Margot was killed
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yes, only now we're not so sure it was her. It may have just been a reasonable substitute.
Logan, you know about the games that Nola Madison's been playing, don't you?
Oh, the masquerade party. Yes.
Seems like she fooled me without even trying. I thought I saw Nola Madison dressed up as Martha Corey, but now we suspect it might have been somebody else.
Well, who?
An elderly lady selling newspapers on the corner. At least that is what we believe.
Yeah, you see, Mrs. Madison modeled her Mansion of the Damned Witched after this old lady who sells papers.
And the only trouble is that she's vanished, disappeared. Seems like she's inherited a lot of money from a rich aunt, and now nobody can find her.
So there's no way that you can confirm whether it was Nola Madison you saw or this other woman?
Mm-hmm. And isn't that convenient that she should disappear just when we want to talk to her?
Yes. Well, I mean, what do you think about this? Are they onto something or not?
Well, wait a
I mean,
minute.
Nola Madison had the same motive that Elliot Dorn had.
But we haven't proved that yet.
Maybe this is a shortcut.
What, this empty hat box?
Empty wig box, Chief.
Chief,
I stand corrected.
listen. Nola Madison is also known as Nola Patterson, the actress.
And a damn good actress. Remember, Deborah had already met her, and she convinced her that she was a completely different person.
That's right. She's already proven to us that she can already be more than one person.
Miles.
Where's the kid?
Oh, hello. Listen, would you do me a favor, and would you please convince your wife that she should go home with you? Thank you.
Don't listen to her. I like it right here.
Listen, Mike and Nancy are outside. They're anxious to see you if you feel up to it.
Well, no, I really don't. It's very sweet of them. I appreciate it, but to be honest, I really would like to be alone for a while.
Oh, heartbroken.
When you are not, you're exhausted, and I know you are. Unless you have a long night ahead of you, yet you still have 2 broadcasts to do.
You know, I think April has a good idea. If we leave her alone, she'll be able to get some rest.
Well, she did fall asleep for a little while, but then the phone rang. Woke her up.
It was not the phone that woke me up. I told you it was something else.
What was it, another dream?
Yeah, I guess so. Sort of. I heard a train. In it. It was a train.
Well, you've heard that before, haven't you?
Well, yeah, but the last time I used to have the dream, it was a sad, lonely kind of sound, a whistle. This sound was like a scream.
Sam, come on, we gotta get out of here.
What happened? My leg! My leg!
All right, let me try this. It's too heavy, Sam. I can't lift it.
Fire! This thing's on fire. It could blow up any second, Draper.
Take it easy, Sam. The rescue workers will be here any minute.
We're halfway down into the river. I know this bridge. There isn't a town inside 20 miles.
Take it easy. Hang in there.
Draper, this thing's gonna blow up any second. Quick! My vest! The handcuff key! The handcuff key! Get out of my vest!
Lie still.
Stop worrying about me. I can hardly move, even if you got this thing off my leg. I think my brack's broken. Quick, get the handcuff key out of my vest. Unlock the handcuffs.
All right. Are you with us? Yeah. Oh, if I can use 2 hands.
Draper! Kill that woman, did you?
No! Of course I didn't.
Clint, for the love of God, get out of here! For your wife, for your kids, get out of here!
I can't leave you here!
Get out of here, Draper!
All right. I'm gonna get help.
Come on, Draper.
He's there. Keep running.
We gotta get full. Get full.
Stay here.
Go. Go. Gotta get full.
Stay free, kid. Stay free.
Sam, come on, we gotta get out of here.
What happened? My leg. My leg.
All right, let me try this.
He's bleeding. Please help me.
It's too heavy, Sam. I can't lift it.
Fire. This thing's on fire. It blow up any second, Draper.
Take it easy, Sam. The rescue workers will be here any minute.
We're halfway down into the river. I know this bridge. There isn't a town inside 20 miles.
Take it easy. Hang in there.
Draper, this thing's gonna blow up any second. Quick! My vest! Handcuff key! The handcuff key! Get out of my vest!
Lie still!
Stop worrying about me. I can hardly move, even if you got this thing off my leg. I think my brack's broken. Quick, get the handcuff key out of my vest. Unlock the handcuffs.
All right. Maybe with this off, I can use two hands.
Draper! Kill that woman, did you?
No! Of course I didn't!
Glenn, for the love of God, get out of here! For your wife, for your kids, get out of here!
I can't leave you here!
Get out of here, Draper!
All right. I'll be back. I'm gonna get help.
Come on, Draper. He's there.
Keep running.
We gotta get full. Get full.
Stay here.
Go. Go. Gotta get full.
Stay free, kid. Stay free.
Hated leaving April alone in that hospital room just now.
Well, she said she needed time to be by herself.
She just didn't want to cry in front of us.
Probably be the best thing for her. Relieve some of the tensions.
Wouldn't be surprised if she cries herself to sleep every night for the next 15 years.
No, the shock is going to wear off after a little while. Oh, thank you.
Another day or two, she's going to be out of the hospital. What's she going to do then?
I tell you, I can't see her going back to Oakdale, not all by herself.
Oh, no, she can't be alone now. We have to ask her to come live with us, at least until Julia's out of the hospital.
Yeah, I agree.
She could stay with us beyond that. I'm sure Mrs. Goodman will pitch in.
Well, I know we're going to have to ask April how she feels about that.
Do you think she'll object?
You know, my little sister, sometimes she goes out of her way to prove that she is the independent type.
Well, there's going to be plenty of time for that, unfortunately.
I'll tell you what, since you're going to be working here for the next couple of hours, why don't I go back to the hospital, talk to her about it. Then after your late news, I can come back here and pick you up, all right?
It's fine with me. Thank you.
See, I'd better get out of here and let you work.
There's so much going on in the world right now, and it all seems incredibly insignificant to me.
Probably not much in the mood to get in front of the cameras, are you?
Here's an item about Draper being sent to Redstone Prison. At least it's the last thing about this mess that I'm going to have to read over the air.
Yeah, by tomorrow, Draper's going to be old news.
Not to us. Can't tell you how difficult it's been for me having to read these stories about Draper and appear indifferent.
I know. A newscaster's got to be objective.
I don't think I can bite my lip anymore. I don't think I can bite my lip.
Oh,
In the middle of this story,
you're
I'm
gonna be
probably
just
going to start
fine.
crying.
Just fine.
You know, this is really some job I have. Get to tell the world about all the terrible things that are happening. But you know, this is the worst. This is the absolute worst.
Well, at least some things are getting back to normal. There's
yeah.
some good news.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was any such thing anymore.
Well, I think I told you, didn't I? Chief Mallory came to my office, asked me if I'd come back, do a little bit more work for the department. Asked me to let bygones be bygones.
How do you feel?
Well, I feel the same. Of course.
Can I have another one of those, Eddie?
Sure.
I'm back.
Anything new?
No, they're still just beating the bushes.
Listen, your table is ready if you'd like to go over and sit down. You
sure.
can take your drinks with you.
Okay. Listen, I'll catch you later on these.
Okay, fine.
I tell you, I have been a cop for more than a few years, and in more than one town, but I've never seen anything like it.
They are a tenacious trio.
Buckley, Stoner, and Saxon have set up their own private investigation into the Dorn case. They are spending every minute trying to find new leads.
Well, if they need a hand, you make sure that they call me.
It's unprecedented. 3 officers should work so hard to overturn the findings of their own investigation. They are checking and double-checking every piece of information with a fine-tooth comb.
Sort of like a game. Yeah. Like a big puzzle. If they can just find that missing piece, then Draper goes free. I admire him for it. I think you should, too.
I do. Very much. But that is just between you and me.
Well, why are you afraid of letting people know it?
Because I am Chief Hard-Nosed, and don't you forget it. It'd be bad for my image to let out emotions like that.
Oh, yes. We got to keep up appearances here.
Look, officially, this investigation is closed. The guilty party is on a train headed towards the state penitentiary. I can't condone what they're trying to do.
You're not going to stand in their way.
No. No, if by some horrible fluke the wrong man's been convicted, I want Draper Scott out of prison and the guilty party in prison.
Well, I think you ought to keep an empty cell available, because I think you're going to need it.
Well, Draper couldn't hope for 3 better cops on his side.
Nope. And now they're zeroing in on Nola Madison's alibi.
Well, I don't know if Steve saw Nola's double that night or not. But even if he did, that still doesn't place Nola at the Dorn penthouse.
But, if she did pay that Barnes woman to disappear so that her alibi couldn't be challenged, then what we have is a whole new kettle of fish. Sure would like to find that lady.
Yeah, I would too, but so far, no luck on that.
Tell me, and just between the two of us, what do you think about this disappearing wig business, huh?
I don't know what to think about this wig. I don't know if it was stolen or if Margot Dorn sent it out for a haircut or whatever the hell they do with wigs. But if it is sitting in a beauty parlor somewhere, we might as well just give up on it.
Yeah. But if it was stolen, I can't help wondering why anybody would steal just a wig. Oh my God.
Hello there. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
As a matter of fact, you are.
Oh, good. I hope it wasn't anything trivial like football.
No. Football season is finished, just like our dinner. I'm really sorry about this, Raven. We were about to
Logan,
leave, so...
sit down. You haven't even eaten yet. Aren't you going to introduce us?
No.
I'm Derek Mallory. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Mallory. Please forgive my husband. He can be terribly rude sometimes. Besides, it's not Mr. Mallory, it's Chief Mallory, right?
That's right.
Tell me, Raven, is this just a happy coincidence?
No. They told me where you were at the office.
That, Jenny, she's not supposed to tell people where I am except in an emergency if she wasn't civil service.
This was an emergency. I haven't seen you in almost a week. I missed you.
Sure.
This table's only set for two. Obviously, you're not expecting female company.
We were discussing business.
Okay, I'll be quiet. I'll be a good little girl. Is that okay with you, Chief?
You'd better ask Logan about that.
Oh, he doesn't care. He's thrilled to see me. He's just hiding it.
Thrilled.
So, how do you like your job?
Pays the rent.
I was really surprised when Bill Marcel retired. How does it feel to take over for a person with a reputation like that?
Well, I don't know if I can fill his shoes, but the desk seems to be about the right size.
Raven, at the risk of being rude, Chief Mallory and I are discussing business, and it's very private business.
You don't trust my discretion, darling?
You want a straight answer or a funny one?
You know, actually, I can see why Bill Marcel retired. He can have more time with his wife now. How about your wife?
I'm not married.
Oh, I love it. The subtlety of a sledgehammer.
Oh, you're not? Well, I'm surprised. Such an attractive man.
I'm divorced.
Ew, sorry. Divorce is a nasty word, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
Well, anyways, I don't mean to put down Bill Marceau, but I must say it's very nice to have an attractive, eligible bachelor as chief of police.
Raven, it's a game, you see. Is the game over for this evening?
I wish you a lot of luck. Can I call you Derek?
Please do.
I like your friend. I'm glad you have a friend. How's Jamie?
He's fine.
We have an adorable little boy. He looks just like his daddy.
Yes, I know. I've met Jamie. He's a fine young man.
Oh, really? I'll have to call Geraldine and say hello. Maybe she'll put Jamie on. I can talk to him.
Jamie doesn't keep the same hours that you do. He'll have been asleep for quite some time. Besides, he's not with Geraldine this evening. He has a sitter.
Geraldine went out. Why didn't you call me? I could have taken care of him.
I didn't want to impose.
Well, the way Geraldine dotes on him, it must have been something very important if she left him.
Yeah, she's spending the evening at WMON.
Is she being interviewed?
No, she's working there. It's the first night of a new job.
What? Geraldine Whitney Saxon has a job?
You got it.
Oh, come on. What happened when I left? Did the stock market crash?
She's working there as a favor to April.
Somehow, I cannot picture Geraldine pushing a television camera around a studio.
April needed a new station manager, and Geraldine agreed to take on the job.
Geraldine knows nothing about television.
She's getting a couple of weeks of on-the-job training to see if she can handle it, all right?
Good for her. What time is it? Oh, I have to go. I'm sorry. I was going to meet someone and I'm late already.
Please don't let us keep you.
Look, it's very nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
I hope we can get together sometime, have a little talk. We could be friends.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Don't work too late. Tell Jamie that his mother will come by and see him sometime. Bye-bye, darling. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. Well, you've met the wife.
Yeah, but from the way you described her, I was expecting to meet some kind of vampire with green skin and 3-inch fangs.
Well, Raven can turn on the charm when she wants to. But now that you've met her, take my advice. Do yourself a favor.
What's that?
try to forget it.
Should have known that the only time I would be in Monticello's most fashionable hairdressing salon would be on business. Of course, with the prices you guys charge, don't quite exactly fit police detectives' budget.
Don't feel bad. Most of my wife's working friends have the same complaint.
Did you style Margot Dorn's hair? Or was she handled by one of your associates?
I took care of Mrs. Dawn personally. Margot would settle for nothing less than the best.
And how often did she come in to see you?
Once a week, we had a standing appointment, which she was often forced to break.
Oh, because of her busy schedule, of course.
And she was always in the public eye.
That's why you sold her the wig. Isn't that right?
Michael, would you take over, please? I suggested Margot buy that hairpiece about a year ago. Now, it took some doing, but I finally managed to find a wig that was wonderfully close to her own hair coloring. And I don't see how anyone would have known the difference.
Since you sold her the piece, did you also take care of it?
Oh, yes. Whenever Mrs. Dawn sent it in to be cleaned and styled, I treated it as if it were her own hair. As a matter of fact, it was. Why this interest in Margot's wig?
Well, we're conducting an inventory of the things that belong to Margot. Is the hairpiece here?
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
Detective, I'm not running an assembly line operation. I know exactly whose wigs are in my shop and whose aren't.
I see.
As a matter of fact, it was styled and returned a week or so before her death.
Now, isn't it possible that the wig could have been kept somewhere other than the original box?
Unless the wig was kept on its form inside that box, it would lose its shape.
Meaning that the wig should have been on the form in the box in the apartment.
Mrs. Dawn was a very meticulous woman. The way she took care of that wig, I'm sure it was.
That's very interesting. Before you go back to your customer, I would just like to ask you one more question.
The phony fundraising story as a filler, as a bridge between the sports and the weather.
That's good. Look, Laura's got some extra copy filler in case we run short of time.
Check. Oh, good.
Copy tonight.
Jerry, excuse me for a minute. Geraldine, welcome to WMON.
WMON station manager, such as she is, reporting for duty.
It's so good to see you here. Well, I guess the best thing for you to do is just watch the studio routine. And that way, when they start throwing those technical terms around, you'll know what they're talking about.
Well, until I do, there's one station manager who's going to be seen but not heard. Nicole, has something out of the ordinary happened?
Why do you ask that?
Well, this place seems to be in a state of utter confusion.
Well, it's like that before every show. You see, this is orchestrated madness. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing, and it is absolutely necessary.
I can see I'm going to be serving a long apprenticeship.
Well, you'll catch on pretty soon. Just don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, you can be sure I'll be doing a lot of that.
Everyone is aware of the situation. A very nice bunch of people here. I'm sure they'll be very happy to cooperate with you.
That's very reassuring. I'm going to need a lot of help.
Well, people are pretty busy right now, so if you don't mind, I think we'll save the formal introductions until after the show.
Well, since you and I are such good friends, I have no doubt I will be running to you when I need information. I just hope you don't mind.
No, I'll do everything I can to help. I'm very well versed in broadcast journalism, but for the information about the other departments here, you're going to have to knock on a lot of office doors.
It just is very unfortunate that April has disassociated herself with the station. As Margot's assistant, she must know a great deal about the overall operation.
The station is the last thing on April's mind right now.
It's a terribly unhappy day for her.
Well, you can imagine how she feels. Her husband's been sent to prison for 15 years.
Good Lord. Nicole, it must seem like an eternity.
Well, we've got a news show to put on, Geraldine.
You're quite right. And there's no time like the present for lesson number 1.
All right. Okay. When the news copy is ready, the writers send it to me so I can edit it. And then after I make my changes, I meet with the directors so we can make sure that we have matching copy. Because The last thing you want when you're on the air live is a surprise.
Then who decides whether a story will run or not?
Usually it's me. Someone would have done me a great kindness by forgetting this came over the wire.
What is it?
Draper Scott, the attorney recently convicted of the murder of Margot Dorn, is getting his last look at the outside world without prison bars to block his view. At this hour, the former attorney is bound for Redstone Prison, where he is to begin serving a 15-year jail term.
Nicole, I know this must be terribly disturbing for you. Why can't you just eliminate that from your report?
Oh, I can't do that, Geraldine.
Why not? You said the option rests with you.
My job is to report the news, like it or not. This is the news.
Okay, Nicole, stand by. We got 1 minute to air.
Judge Martin Oliveri took into consideration Mr. Scott's upstanding reputation in the community before imposing the 15-year jail term, which is the lightest sentence permissible for a conviction of murder in the second degree. Mr. Scott has been remanded to Redstone Prison, a medium-security facility in the northwest part of the state. I have more news after this message.
Want to see this, Mrs. Saxon? It just came off the wire.
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, my God.
Jerry wants Nicole to use it first thing out of the break.
This information is so sketchy.
Nicole can handle it. She's a real pro.
Five seconds to air, Nicole. Stand by.
Thank you for joining us again. I've just received a news bulletin from the Northwest Wire Service. The Graham County Express heading north with stops at Lawrenceville, Grand Falls, Garrison, and Redstone Prison derailed earlier this evening as a driving rainstorm washed out the Grand Falls Bridge. Rescue teams at the site report extensive damage to the train. Many passengers are feared dead. Oh, thank you.
Okay, Nicole, 5 seconds.
Thank you for joining us again. I've just received a bulletin from the Northwest Wire Service. The Graham County Express heading north with stops at Lawrenceville, Grand Falls, Garrison, and Redstone Prison derailed earlier this evening as a driving rainstorm washed out the Grand Falls Bridge. Rescue teams at the site report extensive damage to the train. Many of the passengers are feared dead.
Hey, what are you doing? Still pacing the floor? Why aren't you resting?
Because I'm too tense. I tried to sleep. It's impossible.
All right, I'll have one of the nurses get you something to help you
Miles, I don't
relax.
want any medication. The fact is, I'm worried about Draper. I mean, you had to see him here this morning. He walked in. He tried to put on such a brave front, saying goodbye, but Miles, he's scared. I know he is. He's got to be, just at the thought of spending 15 years in prison. Oh, no, something else. I've got this feeling, this awful feeling that I'm never even going to see him again.
April, I know the separation is traumatic for you, but you gotta just try to settle down, to adjust, and to wait it out.
Miles, I'm never going to adjust to the fact that my husband is gone, and I simply have no intention of just forgetting about him.
No one expects you to do that.
If I could, I'd go up and visit him right now.
Well, before you do any visiting up at the prison, you're gonna have to get your strength back, and that means getting plenty of rest.
Well, I can't right now. I'm too keyed up. Let's go for a walk. Maybe I'll work off some nervous energy.
Okay, sure.
Oh, boy.
Which way you want to go? You want to take the high road up past the nurse's station or the low road into the waiting room?
Let's take the low road. I'd prefer to avoid the nurse's station if possible. Oh, I'll tell you, you know, being alone with my thoughts isn't too comforting. Thanks for coming back and looking in on me.
That's what a big brother's for, isn't it?
Well, listen, when you and Nicole were here before, I appreciate everything you've done, but when I told you to go home and take care of your own business, I meant it.
What makes you think we didn't?
Well, because a boomerang couldn't have gotten back here any faster than you did.
Well, for your information, miss, Nicole is down at WMON anchoring the news, and I thought, well, okay, as long as she is taking care of her business, I might as well take care of some of mine. I work here, you know.
And I just happened to be in the neighborhood.
Absolutely, yes. I'm looking in on one of my patients, and I happened to run into Dr. Buckley, who was waiting for another expectant mother.
Did she say anything about Julia?
Yes. As far as she's concerned, mother and child are doing just fine.
Draper and I made a perfect little girl, didn't we?
Absolutely perfect. A little bit small, but perfect. She's going to have to be in that isolate for another month or so.
Oh, I can't tell you how much I yearn to hold that baby in my arms.
I know. I know. She's got to be a patient here a while longer. You don't have to be, though. Dr. Buckley told me she'd be willing to give you your walking papers anytime you want them.
Yeah. But that means I'd have to go home. I don't have anything or anyone to go home to.
April, you don't have to go back to Oakdale.
Miles, anywhere I live, I'll be alone.
Not if you take a room at 320 River Road.
It's your house.
Very good, very good. Now, Nicole and I, we'd really like for you to come stay with us for as long as you like.
Miles, it's a very kind gesture, but I don't know.
Why not?
Well, I don't want your pity.
You don't have our pity. You have our love. You need some loving care right now. Who better to give it to you than your own family?
Well, it's a tempting offer.
Does that mean you accept, or am I going to have to arm wrestle you for it, huh?
Oh.
That's 3 out of 5?
Okay.
You always beat me.
Miles, I don't want to be a burden to you and Nicole either.
How can you be a burden on people who love you?
Listen, just because my whole world is turned upside down right now, that doesn't mean it has to interfere with your lives.
Look, you're a very important part of Nicole's and my life. And I don't think we'd be happy knowing you were all by yourself.
Yeah? I think you got yourself a house guest.
Good. All right.
Oh, thanks.
That settles it. Now, why don't you try and get some rest, huh?
Oh, okay. Listen, we might even be able to catch some more Nicole on the news, huh?
I thought you said you didn't want to hear the news anymore.
Well, I don't. Or at least I don't want to hear about Draper on the news. I don't want to hear anything about his trial or his sentence or anything. But I will tell you one thing. I have kind of gotten used to seeing Nicole's mug on the tube.
Well, if there's anything about Draper, it's probably on the early part of the show. She's up to the weather by now, I'll bet.
You know, speaking of the weather, even that's making the news lately. That must be some storm upstate.
Get under the covers.
That's tonight's early report. I'll be back at 11 with all the news you need to know. WMON, this is Nicole Drake.
Miles, she sounded kind of down, didn't she?
Well, she's got all those reports about Draper. How else would she sound?
No, there's something else. I don't know. She looked really worried, didn't she?
What did you find out?
Nicole, we've managed to get through to the state police in Grand Falls. They're still trying to piece together what happened. But apparently the force of the impact was so great that some of the passengers were thrown clear of the train and into the river.
Oh, God.
The thing is that the currents of the river there are very strong, and they're afraid that some of those bodies may never be recovered.
Why did it have to be the Graham County Express?
The rescue teams are moving in now to get to the injured, so it might be a little while before we get any more details. But the point is that it was the first 3 cars that took the brunt of the crash, and if Draper was sitting in the rear of the train, well, he might very well have escaped injury.
Yes, but what if he was in the first car?
But we don't know that yet. No, so there's no reason to despair.
Relax, darling. I've never seen you so nervous.
I'm not nervous. Fine. No, I'm not fine. Now that all the boxes have been sent off, there's not a reason in the world why we should be here. Stupid of us not to have made our reservations to LA for tonight. What on earth possessed us to decide on tomorrow?
Why the rush? Don't tell me you're letting them get to you, those eager beavers of the Monticello Police Department.
Well, they have practically turned this house into an extension of police headquarters, dropping in whenever they feel like it. God, I don't like those people.
Well, you have nothing to fear from them.
No, I got rid of all those illegal drugs. But they're on a witch hunt, Elliot. I can tell. They want to burn me at the stake.
Darling, I'm afraid you're getting a little paranoid.
Deborah Saxon despises me, Elliot.
Well, it was a rotten little trick you played on her. Not to mention Dr. Kavanaugh.
Look, I admit it was a foolish thing to do. But to hound me day and night to get back at me? I don't trust them. Any of them. Vindictive little people. Suddenly, I'm feeling very thirsty. And not for more coffee. Will you join me, Elliot?
That's not mineral water you're drinking, my dear.
I'm well aware of that.
It's the first time in a long time I've seen you take hard liquors.
Well, it's an occasion. This is a farewell and good riddance drink to Monticello.
Shall I get that?
No, I might as well. It's probably Monticello's finest. This time with rubber hoses in hand. Owen!
Hello, Nola. Sorry I didn't call first. But of course, this still is my house.
Oh, come in. Look who's here, Elliot.
Hello, Owen.
Elliot.
Oh, what brings you out here?
A couple of things. I'm taking the late flight out to Los Angeles in a couple of hours, and I thought the civilized thing to do would be to at least drop by and say goodbye.
Well, how thoughtful of you. Elliot and I were just about to drink to a toast to our imminent departure. Would you care to join us?
I thought you were on the wagon.
Owen, it's one little drink.
You're an alcoholic.
I'm a big girl.
Here's a handy tip, Elliot, from one who knows when you try to sober up later, don't bother with a hot coffee. It just doesn't do a damn bit of good.
Look, is that all, Owen? I wouldn't want you to miss your plane.
I have one more obligation to perform. This is for you. It's a copy of the release print Mansion of the Damned.
Well, at last. Thank you, darling.
I hope you enjoy your performance.
I'm sure I will.
Although you probably topped Hester Atherton with your portrayal of Martha Corey.
I'm looking forward to seeing this.
And when will you be leaving for California?
Tomorrow? We must have lunch at Chasen's sometime.
Remember how I always used to hate the size of Los Angeles? Well, now I guess it's kind of a blessing, isn't it?
Why?
Means the chances of us running into each other are pretty remote. I just hope to God I never see you again. Well, I do have that plane to catch. Don't bother to show me out. Goodbye.
I'm sorry if that man upset you.
Don't be silly. I'm glad he came by.
Or you could have fooled me.
Now I really have something to drink to. Here's to Mansion of the Damned. That was so tasty. I think I'll have another.
I think the bar is closed, Nola.
What do you think you're doing?
I'd rather you didn't.
Oh, since when did you become a member of the Temperance League?
I've never found drunken women terribly attractive, and I have no intention of putting up with an alcoholic wife the way Owen did.
I see.
And I've no desire, no patience to play wet nurse to you after one of your binges.
Elliot, why are you making a federal case out of one little drink? And the first one in months at that.
I just want you to know how I feel, Nola.
You're very quick, darling. You've been looking for an excuse, and this is just what you were waiting for, isn't it?
Nola, now look.
Your level of passion has dropped considerably during the past few weeks.
I hadn't noticed.
Yes, and I know why. You've taken up with that little tramp again.
Nola, I prefer not to discuss that.
No sooner did that blackbird land in Monticello that you began billing and cooing with her.
Nola, I've told you more than once that my relationship with Raven ended months ago.
Yeah, it's just like the good old days when you were cheating on Margot.
I'm really getting sick and tired of your jealous accusations.
Well, now that you have your Raven back, it's time to dump the old crow. Is that your plan?
I think your abstinence from alcohol has lowered your tolerance. I assume that's the liquor talking.
Elliot, look, we have such a wonderful future ahead of us. Please don't let that woman ruin everything.
Well, we'll discuss this when you're in a more reasonable frame of mind. I'm going out for some fresh air.
Oh, darling, the only reason I said those things was because I love you.
Well, I'd hate to see the way you treat me if you hated me.
I'm sorry. Please, forgive me. Look, I won't touch another drink, I swear.
Don't wait up for me, Nola.
Elliot, don't go, please. Let's sit down and watch our movie together. You do want to see the film?
Good night, Nola.
Why couldn't that little tart have stayed in England? Yes.
Nola, I'm glad I caught you in.
Who is this?
It's Deborah Saxon.
What do you want now?
I'd like to come by your house in a little while.
You're not welcome in this house.
I have something very important to discuss with you.
Well, I have nothing to say to you.
Then you can listen to me.
No. I'm more than a little tired of all our little talks. I'm in no mood to be browbeaten anymore.
I have something to show you, Mrs. Madison. Something that I think you'll be very interested in seeing.
Why doesn't some information come over the wire? I can't stand waiting much longer.
Now, please, Nicole, try to relax. Losing your composure isn't going to get that information to us any faster.
Hello, how's my favorite newscaster, Geraldine?
Miles?
All set for dinner? Would you like to join us, by the way?
You haven't heard?
Heard what?
Well, it must be all over the news by now.
Well, April and I got to talking. We missed the news.
There's been an accident. The train that was carrying Draper to prison has been in a terrible wreck.
What?
Miles, it may turn out to be the worst train disaster in a decade. They still don't know how many people might have been killed.
Was there any word on Draper?
Well, bits and pieces of information keep coming in, but so far there isn't any word on survivors.
Where's this crash?
Grand Falls.
Maybe I should drive up there. Yeah, they may need a doctor. I might be able to find out about Draper.
Yes, but April might need you.
Miles, the best place to wait it out for more details is right here. We have every news-gathering source at our fingertips, and we'll be the first to know.
Well, I guess you're right.
April doesn't know anything about this.
Not when I left the hospital, she didn't.
Well, I hope no one tells her until we have good news to give her.
This just came in from the Grand Falls Tribune. I thought you'd want to see it.
Thank you.
What does it say?
At 6:42 p.m., the northbound Graham County Express derailed while crossing the Grand Falls Bridge. Heavy rains weakened the structure, causing some 20 feet of track to become dislodged. The train reached the abyss while traveling at a speed of 50 miles an hour, hurtling it off the track. Rescue teams have recovered the following bodies from the wreck and the riverbank.
Is Draper's name on the list?
There are no familiar names there.
Thank God.
There are only half a dozen names on that. But they're afraid the toll might reach 40 or 50. Thank you. Firefighting apparatus and ambulances from 4 neighboring counties have been called to the site of the wreck.
We're gonna have a minicam crew up there pretty soon. Hopefully they'll be sending some pictures back.
Nicole, should we have on the air some sort of special report?
Yeah, but we have to wait for the visuals to go with the copy.
This is quite a first day on the job for you, isn't it, Geraldine?
Well, Miles, I knew it would be a memorable day, but I had no idea that circumstances would be so tragic.
More news from Grand Falls.
Thank you, Harley. It's a list of the confirmed fatalities. There must be at least 2 dozen.
What does it say?
I'm afraid to read it.
Now, please, Nicole. This may sound callous, but that may contain good news, at least for us.
I hope you're right. God.
You better tell us.
2 of the bodies found were those of Deputy Sam Dwyer and his prisoner, Draper Scott.
I know it's kind of late to see the baby, but I really just want to see my daughter.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You know, your little girl seems to be getting bigger every day.
Oh, yeah, doctor said she should be ready to come home in a couple weeks.
Yeah, she's quite a looker. Prettiest little baby in the nursery. I'll open the curtain for you.
Thanks, Lily. Hey there. Hi, Julia. How you doing? You know, I miss you when I don't see you. I miss your daddy, too. It's just gonna be you and me, Julia. Just the 2 of us. For a long, long time.
That's what we have to decide, Mrs. Saxon. If we pull the network show for the news special on the wreck, we'll have to pull the entire hour. That'll leave a half hour to fill.
Well, surely there must be something we can do. Put the news special in the first half hour, for instance.
Our tapes won't be edited in time.
Mrs. Saxon, we just got a call from our camera. They're asking if we can arrange a line feed from the Grand Falls TV outlet.
Arrange a what?
Well, there's a chance for a live broadcast from the local rescue center.
Yeah, my dear, I'm sorry. What is your name again?
Feline.
Feline. I haven't the vaguest idea what you're talking about. But it sounds like a very good idea to me if it's feasible.
I'll talk to Charlie Rush about it.
Mrs. Saxon, just a reminder, we haven't even had the camera rehearsal for the broadcast tonight.
Which broadcast, for heaven's sake?
The 11 o'clock news. Nicole's spot. Except I think maybe you ought to talk to her. I don't think she's in very good shape right now.
I can't do it. I can't go in front of the camera and announce Draper's death.
Can I arrange for somebody else to do the broadcast?
Yeah, but I'm not worried about the broadcast now. I'm worried about April. And she doesn't know. And she's going to have to be told.
That's before she hears it from another source.
When I called the hospital about half an hour ago, they said she was still asleep. But I think she should hear tonight because tomorrow morning she could wake up and someone else might tell her.
Nicole.
It's quite a baptism by fire for you, isn't it, Geraldine?
Miles, I can't think of a more appalling time to be concerned about a news broadcast. But I told April I was going to try to do this job. And right now, that broadcast is the most urgent thing we have to do. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. We were just talking about how to tell April the news.
She has to be told soon.
I know. I think you should go straight to the hospital after the broadcast.
Yes, well, we have to. We're the ones that have to tell her.
Nicole, I think they're ready for your camera rehearsal now.
Geraldine, I don't think that I can manage the show tonight. Glenn has some people he can call at short notice. Howard Daniels might be available.
Now, please, my dear. I'm sorry. But this is your job. And as difficult as it may be right now, I really think you should do it. Don't you agree, Miles?
Yes, I do. You're gonna have to tell April about it. You might as well tell the whole world.
You're right, of course, Geraldine. I don't have any right to react this way. I've been broadcasting bad news for weeks now.
Nicole, I know how upset you are. Something like this is so shocking and unexpected.
It's ironic, isn't it? Usually work is supposed to be a tonic for grief, not in this case.
But this is our job, and we're going to have to do it.
Something tells me you're going to do it very well, Geraldine.
This just came over the wire, Mrs. Saxon. It's the updated casualty list.
Is Draper's name on that list, too?
Yes.
Isn't there a chance that it could be a mistaken identity? I mean, they said the fire was devastating.
Sweetheart, there couldn't have been any doubt about the two of them. And don't forget they were handcuffed together. The metal would have survived the fire. The bodies were probably found still linked together.
Nobody to drink with, so I just have to drink all by myself. After all, this is a very special occasion. Premiere of Mansion of the Damned. It's not quite like the old days, is it? God. Every limousine in Hollywood. And the lights. Those great big searchlights probing the sky. And crowds, hundreds, thousands of people. Oh, and cameras, microphones. And now, I'm having my Hollywood premiere at home. Just me and my little video cassette machine. The world is certainly changing, isn't it? Not for the better. Very well, Owen, my darling. Let's see what our big picture looks like on a tiny little screen. Nola Patterson in Mansion of the Damned. Oh, thank you, Owen, billing me out of the title. What a nice gesture. What a shame Elliot isn't here. Well, I'll just have to be an audience of one.
You can't do this to me. Look, don't you understand? I'm leaving for California tomorrow morning.
Well, then shouldn't you be home packing?
I am packed. The whole damned house has been packed for days. Nola's very anxious to leave Monticello, and this time she's staying away for good.
Well, I suppose wherever she goes, you go.
We are engaged to be married.
Oh, I know. You're gonna make a charming couple. Probably as charming as you and Margot Huntington. Tell me something, Elliot, just between the two of us. Which one was older?
You don't care, do you? It doesn't mean a damn thing to you.
It does. I told you I'm very happy about your engagement. Tell me something. Are you planning to have children?
You're more impossible than you ever were. I think the damp English weather has helped you grow longer claws.
Well, if I'm so impossible, then why were you so anxious to see me?
Because I want to know what's going on in that twisted mind of yours. One minute you're all over me, the next minute you're yawning in my face when I tell you I'm leaving.
Elliot, I will miss you. You are still the most handsome, sexiest man I have ever met.
Then why are you letting me go?
I can't chain you to a post.
You don't need chains. You can do the same thing with words.
I have a terrible vocabulary.
All I need is a few words of encouragement. And I might tell Mrs. Madison that I've changed my mind.
What do you want me to say? Stay, Elliot. Isn't that something you'd say to a dog?
I see this is a waste of time.
Wait. Come here. Come here, babe. I am still crazy about you. It's just that I have certain problems right now.
Such as what?
Elliot, I'm a married woman.
You never considered that a problem before.
Well, it's a problem now because I have a little boy.
Because of Jamie?
Yes.
Oh, Raven. You want me to believe that getting your baby back is the most important thing in your life?
Well, most mothers feel that way.
Oh. Look, when you left for merry old England 3 months ago, you didn't care a thing for that little bundle of heaven. Matter of fact, you dropped your little bundle off at the Scots.
England changed me, what can I say? Could I have another drink, please?
Would you care for another?
No.
Look, I'll tell you the truth. It's because of my mother. When I saw how rotten a mother could be to a child, it made me think twice.
I don't believe you, of course. I think you're trying to patch up your marriage, and Jamie is the glue.
The marriage cannot be saved.
Or maybe you're just trying to hurt Logan. You enjoy inflicting pain on men. Look at the torment you're putting me through.
Elliot, I don't mean to torment you. It's just that I can't let you get in the way of my goals.
And I'll be in the way.
Look, I cannot do anything that can be used against me, that Logan can see. Look, I don't know how close we could be if you decided to leave your movie star. But if you did stay, it would be very, very nice.
So, Cliff Nelson's really unhappy about his achievement, huh?
No, he doesn't feel it's much of an achievement. I underestimated him. He did a fine job at the trial.
Oh, come on, son. It's an easy case to prosecute.
Yeah, that is when you make mistakes. You get cocky. You figure all the facts are on your side, and you get careless, but that didn't happen to Cliff.
Yeah, I'm sure he presented his facts very well. You won his conviction. What's he unhappy about?
Well, not because he's a friend of Draper's, that's for sure. I don't even think he likes him.
Maybe it's for you, because he knows Draper's your best friend.
He just knew he wasn't going to please anybody by putting in Draper in jail, and I'm here to tell you that he hasn't. He's about as popular as a skunk at a picnic.
I'll tell you the truth. I'm not very pleased about the way things have turned out either.
Good. I was hoping you wouldn't be.
Draper Scott is not my idea of a hardened criminal. But 15 years in the state penitentiary with 2,000 men who are. Any way you look at it, that's pretty tough.
You get another one of these. Oh, news is on. You want to catch it?
Yeah.
Eddie? Yeah. Can we turn that up a bit? Sure.
A section of track near the Grand Falls Bridge was weakened by the sudden torrential flood, causing an estimated 20 feet of track to become dislodged. Moments later, unaware of the damage, the Graham County Express sped toward the bridge and derailed. Firefighting apparatus and rescue
That's Draper's
teams from 4
train.
counties have been called to the site of the wreck. At least 24 passengers are known dead, and some 40 are injured, but the count is expected to rise. Among the dead are young attorney Draper Scott and the police deputy assigned to accompany him to Redstone Penitentiary, Sergeant Sam Dwyer. Draper Scott, convicted just days ago for the murder of Margot Huntington Dorn, was about to begin a 15-year prison sentence, a sentence that has been revoked by the accident which has taken his life and the life of so many others. We'll be back after these messages.
Logan, I don't have to tell you how sorry I am. Yes, I understand. You sure about that part? And that really... No, I don't need any more details, damn it, not now. Wait a minute, just one more thing. What about notification? They do? Including his wife? I see, all right. Thanks. Goodbye, Harry. Better give him another drink. Refresh mine, too. Sure.
Who'd you talk to?
Somebody at TCR. They've got a direct link to the police up at Grand Falls.
And?
Everything is true. There wasn't very much left of the bodies that they found, but in some cases, identification was sure.
Thanks, Eddie.
Draper Scott, Sam Dwyer were linked in death.
You still had the cuffs on him?
Yes.
Was that what killed him? Did that keep him from getting off the train?
No. No, the coaches of the train that didn't wind up in the river were consumed by fire. I don't see how they could have escaped under any circumstances.
Well, has April been told?
No, she hasn't.
Wonder what she's gonna do. Took everything she had just to watch him go off to prison, you know?
People deal with things.
I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about April Scott. I can't accept this myself. How's she gonna... She loved him. He was everything in the world to her. Now he's dead. Dead for no good reason. No reason at all.
Medahim, frugativi, et apalavi, Prince of the darkness. Beautiful, Nola. You were never lovely. Ugly countenance. I gotta start a whole new trend with this picture. To the chambers of hell. Your servant, Hester Atherton, begs the mercy of the Master of Hades. The door. Thus do I. Maybe Elliot has changed his mind. Look, there is no change. I'm not myself.
May I come in, Nola?
You come in!
I've been having the most wonderful time.
I've been attending my first preview of Mansion of the Damned. I yield you my power. Change marvelous. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yes. I can see that you're enjoying yourself.
Oh, you mean this? I would have preferred champagne, but there isn't any in the house. Can I get you something?
No, thank you. This is official business.
Oh, dear. I know just what you're gonna say.
Do you think you could possibly turn that television off?
You're gonna complain to me again about my nasty little practical joke. Well, I'll tell you what, darling. Would you accept an apology? I'm feeling so good this evening. I want to make friends with the whole world.
I'm glad you're feeling in high spirits.
I am, and it's not because of these spirits. It's the movie, darling. You know, I really think that's why I did all those nasty little things. It's because I was so nervous about how Mansion of the Damned was going to turn out. I mean, the actors never really know how a picture is going to turn out. Not until the final cut. You can't tell if it's going to be a lemon or a lollapalooza. You probably never heard that word, did you? Because I haven't seen the second half yet, so I don't know if the ending is as good as the beginning.
But we both do know how the story ends, don't we?
Yes, happily. Hester Atherton gets exactly what she wants.
Evil triumphs.
Well, isn't that the charm of the movie? No ordinary happy ending.
I know another story that doesn't have a happy ending, Nola.
Oh, really?
The Draper Scott story. Suppose you know where he is right now, don't you? On a train, heading for prison.
What a pity. I'm sure he's a very fine young man, basically. But he should have learned to control his temper.
Nola, Draper Scott did not kill Margot Dorn.
Huh? If I didn't know better, darling, I think you were the one who was drinking. But I can see you're horribly sober and very unhappy.
The only reason I'm unhappy is because it took me so long to get at the truth. And because I couldn't find out the truth sooner, I had absolutely no choice but to provide evidence against Draper.
Yes, he's your friend, of course. That's why you'd like nothing better than to prove someone else did it? That's why you worked so hard to railroad poor Elliot.
Ah, we were wrong about Elliot.
Well, nice of you to admit it. Too bad he's not home to receive your apologies.
Yes, we know that Elliot didn't kill Margot, even though he had a very strong motive. In fact, it was the same as yours.
Only criminals have motives, darling. I'm only an actress. You want to see?
No, thank you, Nola. In fact, I came here to show you something. Have you ever seen this before?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Deborah. And as for that, I assume it's somebody's hairpiece?
Yes, it is.
Well, then perhaps I've seen it on somebody's head.
It belonged to Margot Dorn.
Oh, how nice for her. I must say, I never realized the lady was bald.
She wasn't. She wore this hairpiece on the occasions when she didn't want to do her own hair.
That's hardly unusual, darling.
I suppose you're quite accustomed to hairpieces yourself.
I've worn every conceivable kind in my career, darling. Surely you remember that magnificent fright wig in Mansion of the Damned?
Ah, yes, and I also remember the lovely little gray wig you wore in Mansion of Deborah.
How clever of you, darling.
But of course, we never made the connection between Hester's wig and Mrs. Corey's wig and Margot's wig. You see, we only found out that the wig was stolen a couple of hours ago. And of course, who searches an apartment for something like this when they're looking for clues?
And just where did you find the wig, Deborah?
I think you know where I found it, Nola. And I think you know what it was used for.
I know nothing of the kind.
It was quite a make-up triumph of yours, wasn't it?
What?
Nola, you wore this wig the night that you murdered Margot Dorn.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find. Always on our mind. Frustrated days pass without sight. The edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our